For those of you who don't know me, my name is Angelina Shively, and I support small businesses and entrepreneurs as they grow their businesses with AI. And I am very honored to be here with my special guest today, which is Suzanne Taylor King. So welcome, Suzanne. Do you want to tell them a little bit about what you do and what your business is?
Well, I've been a coach for a long time. The last 3 years, been riding the AI wave and really taking my business coaching program to the next level with AI tools for each stage for entrepreneurs, and been on Substack for about 3.5, 4 years. And the growth in the past year has just catapulted my business. It's been amazing.
Well, it's been amazing to watch your journey. And I have loved, at first I was like, oh my gosh, how does Suzanne do it all? Because I cannot take on another platform. And so I kind of sat back and just watched you and the things that you were producing and creating and putting out into the world. And I was like, I have to have more of this, And so say hello in the chat if you know Suzanne, if you know myself, a little shout out. And let's just start today by telling a little bit about your growth and your journey on Substack and how you managed to grow. This lady has 80,000 subscribers.
No, 8,000.
Oh my gosh, 8,000. I was like, how? But still, okay, I'm going to take it. 8,000. Amazing.
Yes.
So tell us about this.
Well, I think for me, increasing output wasn't an option, before AI. But what I've kind of figured out, especially in the last year, is how to have an AI tool that actually writes my content plan with my tone of voice, my stories, my offers, and my history. And I think the psychology of that, I read some of the stuff that it writes for me, and I can't believe I didn't write it. So when I really think about the effort and the time I put in to get Claude or Chat GPT to sound like me or sound like one of my personas. So I have 2 personas that I write in as well. And so I think leaning into that ability has, just increased the output. But I wasn't going to just put any content out there. So it was really important for me, if I was going to use it to write my Evelyn newsletter, my alter ego, it was important that it sounded how I wanted her to sound, which is a combination of me and a couple other people. And, she drinks martinis before she reports on AI news. So she's funny. She's slightly tipsy. She doesn't give a shit. And I just love leaning into that creativity. So I think AI has helped me do that. And therefore that's increased my audience. And I think people appreciate Evelyn's sense of humor. And so once I was able to really get AI to sound like her, I thought, well, what else is possible here? And with the same framework, I've programmed another persona, which is more me, but also a Stoic philosopher. And we talk about business ideas and Napoleon Hill and, so definitely a different audience than, so some people like the eudaimon issues. Some people really gravitate towards Evelyn. And it's allowed so much content for me, but it all still circles on my business content themes. So, attracting somebody with Evelyn still results in people that are interested in what I do.
Right. So tell us just a little bit. You kind of made a decision to utilize Substack fully, and you're still on social media and you are still present there. But
yes,
how has your thought process shifted a little bit?
Well, I think it's the flywheel of it. So I think as AI has made it easier for everyone to become a content creator, I think with that, people have become more discerning about who they're going to hire as a coach, as a consultant, even if somebody just follows me and they want to get mentored by me. I think there's a aspect of, oh yeah, you say you know that, let's prove it to me. Prove to me that you know what you're doing. So I'm very transparent on my Substack about what I do, what I teach. I literally give my whole AI operating system away in a series of articles. There's actually 2 more still coming, with a full checklist, and somebody could take those articles and implement it without ever hiring me. And so I think there's a layer of that Substack really allows for people. Plus, I think there's when you write, and it's an ecosystem, Substack is not just a blog platform. It has a built-in social media. We're going live on Substack right now, which is, to me, an email went out to all of my subscribers saying, hey, Suzanne's live, and your subscribers. So when you think of the power punch of that, and anybody listening, right, you have to understand, if you go live on Facebook, Facebook's not telling anybody that you're live. They're not, because you're
And
not paying.
so
And
many
so I
things.
think
I want to
that's
pause you
unique.
because I mean, look
Yeah.
at this. We have, it may sound like not a big number, but there's 13 people that are hanging out with us right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
that is phenomenal. If we were on Facebook, I'll be honest, I maybe get 1 or 2 views, right? And then what's so cool about this is, like, later on when we're finished, it creates these beautiful assets that are going to, like, take your picture, my picture. It'll
Yeah.
put our like quotes, it'll post right to
Yeah.
YouTube. It is amazing. And
Yeah.
so to me, like, the idea of partnerships, being able to reach out, like anybody on here right now, we can go live together and just talk about, what is your specialty? What is my specialty? And it's just
Yeah.
so amazing. One of the comments someone has is like, oh, I only have 5 subscribers. So, like, I'm going to be honest. I literally was watching Suzanne, and you created a course within your school community. So if you're not in Suzanne's school community, it's an amazing place to be. And you did a whole series on Substack. It was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, maybe a little longer. And walked us through everything. And I'm going to be honest, I set mine up when you ran this course. It's been about maybe a month and a half, and I have grown to 200 subscribers. Now, that may not sound like much,
it's amazing,
but I don't want to diminish it either, because it took me in my space a whole year to grow to like maybe 700 email subscribers. And in 1 month, I grew to 200. And like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
But you're actually, and I want to compliment you here, because you do what's required. And a lot of people, they see what I have and what I do, and they think, oh, isn't she lucky? And I want to just say, this has been a 3-year journey for me. Like, what you see today, the seeds were planted 3 years ago, and it's consistency, and it's being willing to say, ugh, that didn't work. Let me try something else. And, I think with writing and sharing and growing an audience, full transparency, I'm not like an expert at this. I am willing to make mistakes, and I'm willing to try things that maybe other people aren't willing to try. Right. So I think that's number one. And when I see other people struggling, like, to attract new people, or attract, even likes or comments, and they don't know how to actually build an audience, I say, start writing, start posting. And for example, Evelyn goes every Monday And what that means is there's an article that goes out to my Substack, 8,000 people. Then there's a post on Facebook. Then there's a video. Then there's a short. Then there's a reel. Then there's a post on LinkedIn. Then there's a short email that goes out to my other email list that aren't subscribed on Substack that says, hey, new on Substack, with a video from Evelyn asking them to subscribe to Substack to read the whole article. So all of that automated today as soon as her article goes live. So it looks like not only did I post on 5 platforms, did I share a ton of content that all pushes back to my Substack. I also, made a note on Substack about her article. And when I see that amount of content from someone else in one day, I understand now that that can be one push of a button. That can be one, like, I'm done for the day. Today is Evelyn. Monday is Evelyn. And when I think about what I used to do before this whole flywheel,
Right.
it was never ending. It was, oh, I need content for a reel. I need content for a story. I got to post on my Facebook personal page. And, oh, then my Facebook group. So taking stuff away has actually increased my visibility.
Okay. So there's a couple of questions that I want to
Sure.
address. And I love, love, love that Dorothy was like 8,000 followers. Yes, it's incredible.
Yes.
And I think you correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of the things that I've learned from you is like the difference between notes and articles. So like notes are just these short little thoughts that are coming to you and then the article is the longer piece. And I'll tell you how I've been structuring it. And then I want to hear how you're structuring it. But I basically created a Claude skill that's like, okay, when I have an idea, I'm going to put the topic, just a little blurb in here.
Yeah.
And then this skill is going to run 5 different notes and an article. And it's going to actually, mine pushes to Notion. And then I have those there and I can go in and post them.
Perfect.
Do you want to share how you're doing it?
Yeah, very similar. So I have my articles all planned out, except for Evelyn. She's based on real news stories every week. So I have my articles all planned out. Typically, I write 3 to 6 at a time and schedule them all out with the images, and then part of my creation process when I write an article, the standard operating procedure is write the article, create 5 notes that promote the article or have something to do with it. Like all my notes, which is like a Twitter feed for Substack, all of my notes don't link to an article. Sometimes they're just on that same idea. And then creates a LinkedIn post for the article and creates an email for the article for the other part of my email list. So I think there's just the consistency of that has helped. But I will tell you, I was scheduling my notes. I was so excited when that feature dropped on Substack. Right. Like, oh, wow, I can schedule my notes now. They didn't do as well for me.
Interesting.
So, okay. Wow. I'm like, oh, so organic does better for me. So, and maybe that's the writing of the notes as well. So when I was scheduling them, they were created on purpose to promote me. When I was writing them myself and just kind of having a thought or a rant about something, or this is the way I think it should be, those got me more subscribers. Great lesson, right? Don't be so tied into the content creation that you forget who you are when you have something to say. And it's those notes for me that result in 5 new subscribers a day. And I think that that was such a powerful lesson for me.
Right. Having and being able to share your opinion freely. Like
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Someone asked if the notes go to a wider audience
Mm-hmm.
than the subscriber list. And yes, they do. One of the things that I noticed and have been playing with is, so like if there's someone, obviously I have a small audience, but if I look at someone who has created something, then you can actually restack it. And I've noticed if I put a comment about, like I click restack and then put a little comment about it, then that gives me new followers and new people.
Yes.
So the difference between subscriber and follower, a follower is just, it's going to show up in your feed, but a subscriber is actually, you get their email, right?
Right. And I think the cool part about the difference is I look at it as a follower is following Suzanne. What is she doing? What's she writing in the notes? Cool. Great. A subscriber wants to read what I have to say. And I've just found that the Substack people in general are more in depth. They're not scrolling social media looking for, entertainment. They're on Substack to learn something or grow or be inspired. So a little bit different audience from, traditional social media. And what I like about that is 5 new subscribers a day, I know is like, I don't take it for granted at all. There's a lot of work that goes into showing up powerfully on a platform and being rewarded for that. My Facebook habit, I'm not rewarded for that behavior unless I pay for Facebook ads. So I think that's important for people who are just starting out, anybody who's under $1 million a year in business. You should not have to spend money to find your people. And I'm really passionate about that.
So tell us a little bit too about how you decided to kind of approach this with having, how do you come up with your topics? Like, what are you sharing on there? People, and I want everyone who does not subscribe to Suzanne, as soon as we're finished, go subscribe to her immediately.
Thank you. Well, it started off with business basics before AI, and those articles are all still there, and they're excellent. And I actually just went back through a couple of those original thoughts about how I was doing things as a business owner, from customer intelligence and ideal client profiles. All of it still holds true today, but I just use AI to get to the results faster. So my competitive intelligence process, the old article, is going to get a makeover. And I'm going to link to the old article because it's from 2022 or 2021 maybe. And it's a 4-hour process to do competitive intelligence. Well, now 5 minutes. 5 minutes, because I built the AI workflow to do that for me. And so if people see that contrast and difference and read about it, they're going to want to do it themselves. So again, that goes back to the, oh yeah, you say you know AI, you say you know business, prove it to me. And it's things like that that are like valid proof, but also valuable to the reader to say, well, I could build that. So anything that I write about, I know you with your AI savvy, you could go and build it yourself. You don't need my instructions. It's the imagination and the thinking that's really cool.
Right. And that's what I have to say that I so admire you about, because you're so giving in what you're giving away everything in not everything, but a lot of the things. And so people can learn from you. And then, like you said, they see that you know what you're talking about. And then they're like, my gosh, if she's giving this much value, I need to work with her. Like, she is amazing. And so that's
Yeah.
what I think really the value is, that, you know, you're giving away enough information that people can get to know you, know what you're about, but then they're taking it and learning from it and saying, wow, I want to go deeper. And
And I
so, like,
think there's a balance to that, though, right?
yes,
I'm going to write an article for next week about my daily brief that Claude runs for me. And I was so impressed with myself. Like, I was like, wow,
right.
this is
Little pat on the
amazing.
back.
Like, this is really good. So Claude scans my calendar, my email, and if there's any discovery calls or onboarding calls for new clients, it scans them, lets me know who they are, what their status is. It researches the person, and I'm all prepped and ready to go for the week. And that daily brief is texted to me and emailed to me at 7 a.m. every morning. And when I got the first one, I was like, oh shit, it worked.
Right. How did I do this?
I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm out walking and I get the first text message. And I was like, oh, that's what I made. Oh my gosh, this is really cool. So I'm going to write about that. I'm going to write about how I did it, what it's connected to, not how to do it. Because if you want how to do it, you have to join my group, learn how to do it. And the cool part that I think is really cool, that I give and empower my students, my clients. If you want to build a daily brief for yourself, here's all the files to do it. Here's the instructions. Here's the files. Add your custom information about your business and make it yours. And I wanted somebody to do that for me when I first became a coach and first started in the online space. And of course, nobody did. So.
Right. So awesome. And can you tell a little bit? So once people subscribe, you then have their email to be able to utilize, like, within your high level. Someone was saying, can we, add them to high level? And how do you handle that? I know you shared.
So when somebody joins my Substack, they get added to my CRM. Substack in itself is a CRM. You can use it just to email your subscribers. So I have two ideas here for new people. I tag my subscribers from Substack. I tag them in my CRM, Substack. And the only way they get my other emails is if they are already on my other email list. Because I feel like if somebody is subscribing to my Substack, then that's what they're getting.
Right.
They're not going to get my promotion about my networking event. They're not going to, unless they subscribe into that. So right. I'm very careful about mixing the subscribers. And when you're first starting out, if you only have 5 subscribers, awesome, you have 5. Send each of those subscribers a DM on Substack and say, thanks for subscribing. What's the most important thing you want to hear from me or learn from me? And then write an article for that person. Make sure at the bottom of every article, you have a way to get on your other email list. Hey, you want to learn about what events I'm having or promotions I'm having, subscribe over here. That way you're kind of getting people in both places.
And that's one thing that I love, because we talk all about AI, but like making human connections with people. Mm-hmm. So I followed that exact, idea that you had, and I've already made several connections. And I think that's how, when you talk about like, how are you making money with Substack? I am certainly not charging yet, because that's just not what I'm ready to do. But I feel like it's making the connections, and it might not be someone who's going to buy from you, but maybe it's a partnership that you're going to do. You're going to go live on Substack together. I know, like Lindsay's on here. We're going to go live and just talk about our things. So I think that's a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
What about, let's just wrap it up. If there's any other questions that anyone has, feel free to add them in there. And someone was saying, like, I'm just getting started. How do I start out? So I'm going to tell you there's two ways. One, I'm doing a little, I'll call it a build-a-thon on Thursday, and I'll add the link here if anyone wants to join. And then I would also encourage you to join. Was that part of your school community?
Which one?
The Substack, or was it an extra?
It is part of the school community. It was my $297 a month coaching clients got access to that, or
Okay.
it was an additional purchase to get
Okay.
that. It's Substack and school. So it's a flywheel that Substack feeds your school membership, social media feeds your Substack. So it's a whole big circle.
Yeah, and that's another thing when we talk. I mean, like, there's so many components to it. It's not overwhelming once you know them, but there's just so many pieces. Like when you create a post or an article, I should say, you'll even create the graphics for you, so then you can share them on social media.
Yeah.
And that's another way to, like, kind of grow your audience, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the things I learned early on was promote each thing you write way more than one time. So
Yes.
I think Substack does a really nice job of diversifying. Like you can even make a little video about a post, and which I was like, oh, well, what is this going to look like? And it wasn't bad. And then the short little clips that it does, and the little images for Facebook or Instagram. I just think there's no other platform that helps you promote yourself like Substack does. You can post this video, could go directly to YouTube afterwards, which awesome. It could get posted directly on Facebook or LinkedIn. And if you have all of those tools connected, there's no reason you can't work towards 3 to 5 new subscribers a day.
And I think, to me, that's where the power lies, is it's not just about creating more content, but it's using your content wisely. And so, and I know I don't want to keep you too long because you were so kind enough to meet
you're
here
so
today.
welcome.
But could you tell us a little bit about your flywheel? Like, what does that look like when you talk about your content flywheel? How does that work exactly?
Well, everything I write, article, becomes a video, becomes a post for LinkedIn, becomes a post for Facebook, becomes an email. So when I think about what I'm going to write for whatever section of my Substack, I think, okay, what assets does this need to go with it? And so now it's a standard package. Claude knows when it writes something for me, it writes in the STK flywheel package, and it creates all of those things at one time. So I don't even have to think about it now because I thought about it and researched it long enough. But everything I do, I think about, okay, if it's going to be a YouTube video, and say I want to make a random YouTube video and I have a couple ideas of new ones. Well, I think about that YouTube video, and it's also going to be an article with a checklist or something. And then that becomes posts on social media that promote the Substack. People go to the Substack, they see the YouTube video, they end up subscribing on YouTube. So it's kind of like a whole just circle. And no matter where you enter on the circle, so if I think, oh, I didn't post anything on LinkedIn today, I better go do that. Well, all I have to do is go back to an article, or I don't reinvent the wheel. And that was, I had to cure that within myself because I hate talking about the same thing all the time. Being a creative, I wanted to always be posting something different. Well, we all know in social media, you have to repeat yourself a lot. So it's really helped with that. It's helped me stay focused on my content pillars and what I'm actually using social media for.
And so do you have it as a skill? Do you just run the skill when you have an idea and you're like, hey,
Yes.
here's my idea, run the skill, and all the things come out?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I will tell everyone that I put both of the links to our communities. I put Suzanne's in there.
Thank you.
I put my community as well. And we would love maybe one last question. Do you start thinking Substack first and then the rest follow? Or is it more, it's more just like, here's the idea and then the flywheel has
I'd say
everything?
90% of the time it's Substack first.
Uh-huh.
And then everything comes from there. Sometimes I'll think of a like off topic, like off AI, off business, just what I'm thinking. And that'll turn into a post, very transparent typically, or, vulnerable, I'll say. And then I think about, well, what other articles does that go with? And maybe link it to one or two. And then that doesn't get shared on social media. It's only for my Substack subscribers. So I think there's a way, like my paid members of my school group at $97 a month who are going through my AI process, well, they get a special article on Substack once a month that is so detailed, and it includes a Claude skill, and it's like a little surprise in their inbox. So I don't know.
Fun.
I just think it's so fun. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you all for joining us live. This is recorded. It will likely be posted on both of our pages as soon as we're finished.
Yes.
And feel free to reach out to either of us to ask questions. And
please DM away. I answer, very responsive, and you are too. So love questions, love new subscribers, and thanks so much for having me on.
Well, thanks for sharing all of your wisdom. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.